Josh is up, fellow 12s. As far as being hyped for our draft picks in the recent years, where does Byron Murphy rank for you? I'm still so stoked we got probably the best defensive talent in the draft. I'd say he's definitely up there for me, Josh. Getting Charles, I considered when we got Charles Cross that we got the best left tackle in that draft at 10. But I think that this is right in alignment with what we got with Witherspoon last year. It's, I think, very much in that same spot where you got yourself a difference maker. That's how it feels. And we're starting to stack difference makers up on that side of the ball. And that should bring up the unit with that. But yeah, I do think at the end of the day, he is the best defensive talent in the draft. I think that's when you really get down to the post-draft process and looking at where everything landed and how it all kind of settled out. I landed the spot of saying, yeah, I think that's the way that this broke down. And when you keep adding, as they have over the past couple of years, the best players of their position in any given draft, because the year you took Charles Cross, you got the best left tackle in the draft. You might have gotten in Kenneth Walker the best running back in that draft. You might have gotten the best right tackle in that draft in Abraham Lucas. You might have gotten the second best pass rusher in Boye Mafe. You come back another year later and you get the best cornerback in the draft in Devon Witherspoon. Maybe the best wide receiver in Jackson Smith and Jigba. I mean, arguably, there's other ones that were really good too, and Addison's and Dank Dells and whatnot too. We'll see where that all fits. But, you might come to find when we look at this 3-year period where you picked 5, 6, 7 of the positions that were the best of their position in a given draft. And if that doesn't build a winner, if that doesn't build a Super Bowl contender, then you're dropping the ball big time somewhere else, I would say. He says, we got the most talented defensive player in 2 straight drafts, both at premium positions, added with the best defensive coach in football. Let that sink in. It's a bit of where I never tend to like to go to this simplicity at times on outlooks of things, but when you do get to that point of things on it, even on the draft with Mafe, Randall, okay. The Hutchinson kid, certainly the best edge rusher in that draft. No doubt about that. The kid's a monster. But is Boye Mafe not the second best in that draft? And I've come back to that too and going, we speak to the success of these past couple of drafts for your Seattle Seahawks, they're coming away with the best players at their positions in a variety of areas. Tariq Woolen had a little bit of a down year, but he was looking like the best corner, even beyond Mr. the Handsy Ramsey out there with the New York Jets. He was looking like the best corner in that draft. And if McDonald can tap back into what he does well, specifically some of the man coverage stuff, then boy, you feel like you're cooking with oil at that point, don't you, Randall? You feel like you're putting all of the rights. Like, okay, I've got the dried out bark. I'm going to put a little bit of lighter fluid over the top of this. I've got my little flint. You got all the parts and things put together to create the fire at this point. And it should only be a matter of time before the fire takes. It's where I've gone to in thinking about this, where I go through the variety of players you brought in, just how this defensive line has developed over just the past couple of years alone, Randall, from where we were just 2 off seasons ago, where we had to release all 4 of our defensive linemen. Al Woods, Poona Ford, Quentin Jefferson, go down the list. They all had to go. We had to revolve it all the way out and versus where it is now. So yeah, I do believe that you got probably the 2 best defensive players over the past 2 drafts in what they've done. And that's not where it ends. That's just where it begins when you talk about some of the other players in addition to that they brought in, Randall. Even if we just look to that side of the ball over the past couple of years, and especially if a guy like Derek Hall can come out there and really start to show you what he's capable of doing. And I don't think that we should sleep on him because I think he's going to be a good player in this league too. The turnaround should come, Randall. They brought in all the elements in there that this should now bear out. The fruit should now grow on this tree. It's got the water, it's got the sun, it's got the proper placement, and it's hard to see how it will fail because of that. It's hard to see the place where they're ignoring or they're missing that will cause it to do anything but soar, I would say. Yeah, most talented defensive players in back-to-back drafts. And 2 guys that have a lot of potential. Witherspoon might go out there and show you. I mean, the 3rd highest graded corner by PFF last year throughout the whole sport in his first rookie year. Comes back year 2 and just absolutely goes out there and becomes a superstar in every way. Murphy comes in and provides you somewhat of an equivalent there to the defensive line. What does that do for the defense, Randall? As you say, let that sink in. Let that sink in.